Hello everybody, this is the Pbyfl Pressbox. This is Mario.
I'm Matt. We're going to go over last week's games of the week's picks. Mario had the Panthers and Texans JV. How did that work out for you?
It worked out great. I nailed it. The Panthers took that one in a shutout. It was 27-0, and I believe a young man by the name of Zai was the MVP. So congratulations, Mr. Zai. And I don't know what else to tell you.
I was there. It was a good game.
There you go.
Good game for the Panthers, not so much for the Texans. Bottled them up, took care of business. Rain didn't slow them down at all. So Panthers handled that one. My game was the Steers and Pecos varsity game that took place in Big Spring, and it was not pretty for Pecos. Big Spring put up 32 points. Pecos only got 6 before the game was called. Steers varsity is going to be something to reckon with all year, so that'll probably be another game of the week later on, I'm sure. Okay, so this week we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to start with the D2 division predictions. First game we're going to be doing our predictions over is going to be the Mustangs-Eagles matchup. Flag division, Mario, let's hear your take on that.
Well, Gavin Smiley has been a force to be reckoned with over there on the Mustang squad. He is an absolute joy to watch, and I believe him with his counterparts, Mr. Ashton Figueroa, and who else we have over there? We got Malachi Piper.
A kid named Ghost.
You got Ghost Aguilar over there. It's a four-headed monster. I believe the Mustangs take the Eagles fairly easily.
I've got the same. Haven't seen a lot of the Pecos Eagles flag, seen a lot of the Mustangs flag. Total revamp from last year, totally different team, same kids, different mentality. I got the Mustangs winning that one. Freshman division, I've also got the Mustangs winning that one, coming off a big win over the much ballyhooed Howard County Broncos freshman team that we've heard so much about. Good team. Mustangs were just too much for them. I think the Mustangs will carry that momentum into next week and beat their rival Pecos.
I totally agree. We do have that little sour taste in our mouth from the championship last year. They pretty much relayed it to us. So I just know that coach over there, I think he might be playing with a little chip on his shoulder. So might want to look out for those guys. The Mustangs win.
All right. On the junior varsity division, what do you got?
I've got the JV. Tommy Evans over there, here in Andrews, has been unstoppable. I mean, he racks up touchdowns after touchdowns, and last week he went the distance.
Yeah, 99 and 3/4 yards.
99 and 3/4, which we may see that later, hopefully. I still think that the streak continues. They'll be 4-0 by the end of this week. Mustangs.
I've got the Mustangs as well, but Pecos, they do have Kane, they do have Colt, they have kids around them that are good quality players, but being in Andrews and the Mustangs have been on a 3-game win streak. Pecos, I believe they're coming off of a pretty tough loss to the Big Spring Steers junior varsity.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the Mustangs winning that game as well. Varsity division.
I'm going to go with the sweep Mustangs. I believe it's time for the varsity to go ahead and chalk up that, well, no, it'll be the second win. They did pull one off this week, so I think they carry that into this week, and they beat the Pecos Eagles, so Mustangs win.
Okay. I've got Mustangs. Of course, the Mustang varsity, the offense hasn't really showed up as much as we thought they would. The defense showed up. Special teams showed up last week against the Broncos. They had 2 special teams touchdowns. Mm-hmm. If they get the offense running on all cylinders and clicking well, I think Bo Hudson and some of those other kids, if they can get the kinks worked out, it's going to be a Andrews game. Of course, Pecos isn't it's not a good time to try to work the bugs out, but Pecos is coming off a rough game against the Steers. The Steers, I think they had some injuries, some other things that they're dealing with over there. But I've got the Mustangs winning that game.
Mustang sweep?
Mustang sweep.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the Big Spring Steers versus the Compass Cougars. And we'll start with the flag game. Matt, who you gonna go with?
I've got the Steers in that one, coming off a big win against Pecos. That was 33-20. They had a good showing against Andrews the week before, so I've got the Steers taking care of the Cougars flag team.
I agree. I believe the Steers will. I do remember when they came down to Andrews, it went back and forth. Andrews did stop them a couple series and pulled away on that game. So, but they did put up a good fight. So I believe that Steers will take the Cougars in that flag game.
Yeah, they have a kid on that team, Dean Rico. Yeah,
Rico, that's correct.
Got MVP last week. Great little player, number 3. I look for him to have a big game. Jalen Bishop on the other side with the Cougars, always somebody to watch. So Steers are going to take that one. In my opinion, your opinion, moving on to the
Freshman game.
division.
Same thing. I think the Steers are going to take it. You know, we dealt with the Steers a couple weeks ago, and you know what happened. And I believe that I think the Steers are going to take the Cougars as well.
Yeah, Robert Evans, going to run wild, number 44, great athlete, MVP multiple times already, going to have a great game. I don't see Compass being able to stop him. They haven't faced anybody like him, so I've got Steers winning that game as well. In the junior varsity division, I think the Steers continue on that one. They also have a kid, Javon Jackson.
Also 44.
Yeah, great athlete. Like I said, he's a Louisiana transfer over here. Hit the ground running. I think he's going to run all over these Compass kids.
I agree. Steers JV will also take that game. Varsity, I believe Steers, again, will also take the Compass Cougars. Let's see. Yeah, last week, looks like the Steers easily took care of the Eagles, 32-6 showing there. So I think they continue that.
Yeah, that two-headed monster they have in the backfield with the two backs they have. I don't think Pecos or Compass can stop that. Compass is a good squad. I mean, they've done well through this season so far, but Steers are a different animal. So
right.
I think the Steers, and being at Memorial and Big Spring, Compass is going to have to go on the road. And that doesn't always translate well, especially when you're going to a team as good as the Steers. So I've got the Steers really taking the sweep.
Steers for the sweep. We agree.
Moving on to our next matchup, we have the Stanton Buffaloes taking on the West Texas Rangers in Stanton. In the flag division, Mario, let's go with you first.
I'm going to take the Buffaloes. Even though they were coming off that loss last week against the Cougars, I feel that they're going to turn it around and they will take this game. They will beat the Rangers.
Buffaloes, they have Tim Hinojosa. He was an MVP last week. Good athlete, good little kid. I think the Rangers are a little bit stronger. They have a little bit more depth. In my opinion, I've got the Rangers taking the flag game.
It's our first disagreement.
It happens.
There you go.
Moving on to the freshman division, I've got Stanton taking that one. And I'm basing that off of really not so much what they've done in the regular season, but what they did prior to the season when they scrimmaged the Midland Horn Frogs.
That's right.
The Frogs took the win. Stanton was really playing just to kind of prove themselves, and I think they did. And if they can hold their own, so to speak, with the Frogs, I think they hold their own against the Rangers, and I've got the Buffaloes winning that one.
I agree with you on that. I've got the Buffaloes freshmen taking it to the Rangers. Stanton, I believe, has that Wes Moreno over there, the MVP of the game for the Buffaloes last week. And I believe that I think they come to town and take it to the Rangers. I mean, they're playing at home. Stanton takes it.
All right, Stanton. Moving on to the junior varsity division. What do you have?
I have the JV, let's see, that would be the Buffaloes. I've got the Buffaloes taking that one as well. And same thing, I think they've got, who's that over there?
Mason Martinez.
Mason Martinez. Yeah, I think he's going to have another good game, and he'll continue that, and Rangers can't handle that. I don't think they'll be able to.
I've got the Buffaloes winning the JV division, so like you said, Mason's going to be a big part of that, but, home field advantage as well, and, the fact that the Buffaloes are just, they're looking for a little redemption off last week. The Rangers are coming off, I believe, a bye week. Stanton's coming off a loss. I think Stanton's looking for a little revenge, so I've got Stanton winning that game. On the varsity division, flip it. After seeing what the Broncos had to go through when they played the Rangers varsity, I've got the Rangers varsity beating Stanton as well.
I agree with you. I actually have the Rangers as well, taking it to the Buffaloes, and Rangers win. So I got Flag freshman JV Buffaloes with the Rangers varsity.
I got them taking a split.
There you go. Okay, we're going to move on to the Division I games this week, starting with the Odessa Texans versus the Gators. And let's start with the flag.
Flag division?
Yes, sir.
Joseph Clater, got the Gators eating every week. Great little squad, very disciplined. Bryson Clater, great little athlete. Got a lot of pieces around him, so I think Coach Clater keeps the momentum going. And really the Oilers flag or the Texans flag has struggled so far. They performed a little bit better this past week against the Panthers, but still a loss. So until they find their winning ways, I think the Gators continue their win streak.
I agree. I believe Clater and his little one over there are going to take it to the Oilers. And little Clater, he's a quiet little boy.
Until
But apparently, when the whistle blows, it's go time, and he comes to play. So I think the Gators take that one.
All right.
Freshman level, I also have the Gators on that one. Taking that one, and who do you have?
I've got the Gators, but you know what? It's going to be a very close game. I mean, the Texans, again, in that division have had a rough season. The Gators, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're on the same boat. Just for the simple fact that, the Gators have more players. And I think it's going to come down to how many kids you have left standing at the end of the game and how many can still go. And the Gators having a bigger roster and more players, I think the Gators are going to take it.
Yeah, we did see the Oilers that first week, that first preseason, and it looked like there was a lot of learning going on over there on the other side. So I don't know if they have it all together yet.
No.
Not for the Gators. JV, I also have the Gators in that one too. Let's see, who do you have?
I've got the Gators. One kid over there we don't talk a whole lot about is Wyatt Florence. He's popped up in the top 10 plays. He's a great wide receiver. Really was kind of a role player last year, coming into his own this year. I think with teams having to game plan for the Jace Thompsons and the other weapons they have over there, it's time for Wyatt to have a breakout game. I think Wyatt puts the Gators over. The Texans, JV, Sebastian Ortega, some of those other kids, they're going to run into something this week. So,
Right.
and that's unfortunate. Having the Panthers and the Gators JV back to back, but it's trial by fire in this league, and once they get through this, they'll be a better team for it.
There you go. The varsity squad, this will be the Oilers versus the Gators, and I'm still just really excited about that Oilers squad. Who they have over there? Who's that little running back we talked about? Chino. Man, I mean, like I said, until we see something different, in my opinion, I really like him and what they're doing over there. So I believe the Oilers will take it to the Gators.
Yeah, Oilers got too many weapons. Chino, Pete, Andrew.
QB,
That quarterback over there is phenomenal. They really did a number on the Panthers today after a lightning delay. You can't delay the inevitable forever. So I think the Oilers are going to continue their winning ways, and the Gators are a good squad, and they've got, I believe, most of their key players coming back. So that being said, it's going to be a good game. I think the Oilers will have their toughest challenge since the Cowboys. That was just an 8-0 game. So I think it'll be another one of those games. I think it'll be a back and forth. I think there'll be more scoring, but I think the Oilers are going to take it. They'll pull it off.
All right.
Moving on. Moving on to our next set of games, we have the Midland Midland Mustangs facing off against the Odessa Seahawks in Midland Christian Stadium. No flag games. Who do you have winning the freshman game?
Well, I believe that the Pecos Patriots had a rude awakening last week, and I don't think they get over that. I believe the Seahawks will take it to them again this week. So I've got the Seahawks beating the Patriots this week. I'm sorry, Jermichael, but that's just what I'm going to go with.
Having seen the Seahawks and the Mustangs or the Patriots, I've seen some tape on them. I think I'm the opposite. I think they bounce back. I think the Patriots come back. trying to prove that last week was a fluke and that they're ready. They are ready to face these D1 teams. So I've got the Mustangs, the Patriots, winning that game.
Okay, on the JV team, that'll be the Midland Christian Mustangs versus the Seahawks. And I'm still excited about that Midland Christian squad. They had, what did they do last week? They played the Cowboys, right?
Yeah,
Is that the one that was?
Close game, couple penalties, key penalties, but Dylan's squad took it.
There you go. So I think that the Midland Christian Mustangs will win the JV game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think having watched them, they do a lot of passing and a lot of passing. So I don't think a lot of teams prepare for that. Yeah, they don't prepare for that week in and week out. And if you're not ready for it, it's going to make for a long game. So I think the Mustangs are going to take that one. Moving to the varsity level, I've got one of my sweeps. I've got the Mustangs in a sweep. I've got Spiller's squad. He's going to hold down the home field advantage, and he's going to bounce back from his loss. David Baltazar, they put it on him a little bit last week. So I think they bounced back from that 32-0 loss, and you have to. You have to stop the free fall. So I think they'll get back in the win column this week.
I agree. I believe the Midland Christian varsity squad will come back, bounce back, like you said, and I believe they'll take it to the Seahawks as well. Okay, moving to the last game in Division I, we've got the Rebels versus the Panthers. So let's just kick that one off in the flag division. I believe that Tucker Hurd will continue his rampage in the flag division, and Panthers take the flag game.
Yeah, so far the Rebels really haven't shown that they're, ready at that level for the Panthers anyway. The Panthers are a good squad. Coach has got them all working well together. So when you have a good running back to build around and somebody that can score from pretty much anywhere, I think we're good.
Freshman game, you've got next level up. That'd be Tate Hurd and who's that, Juice over there? I believe those boys will also take it to the Rebels. So I've got the Panthers beating the freshmen as well.
Yeah, Panthers, you mentioned Tate Hurd. They have King, Sed Thomas. They also have a little speedster, what is that kid's name? Reggie Ross. Good little athlete. I think the Panthers really just run wild, and maybe even throw a little bit. I got to watch them throw this week. They're playing in the rain, so that affected a lot of what they were trying to do. But seeing what they were trying to do and seeing what they're able to do, I think the Panthers will take that game.
Okay, moving on to the JV. I believe that the Rebels will somehow pull this game off. I believe the Rebels will take the JV.
Rebels?
Rebels. Beating the JV Panthers. There it is.
Up until this week, I've caught a lot of flack for not picking the Panthers on the JV level. But some things you got to see to believe, and seeing them in action against, the Texans, they have talent all over the field. They've got Josh Curry, they've got Zatro, they've got this kid, they call him Fat Pat, his name's Ajamon Kirkwood. That kid is just unreal. He's right up there with one of the best backs on that division. They did a little swapping around at quarterbacks. They had a number 12 in there. I could never catch his name, but then Peyton Ross was in there. So having that versatility, plus the running backs, plus their defense was just shut down. So I've got the Panthers. You might call it an upset. I call it a given.
There you go. And then we'll move into the varsity, and I have the Rebels in that game as well. And I forget, Rebels had a bye last week. I was looking to see what their scores were, but they had a bye last week, so I have the Rebels taking the Panthers varsity game as well.
I've got the Rebels winning that game. The Panthers varsity coming off this past week, they've got some things, they've got some players that still haven't really showed up, be it injury or or other things. They've got some parts of the puzzle they still need to put together. So Rebels, they've got talent, they've got good coaching. So I think they'll be able to pull up. I'm going to call that one an upset. I think the Panthers should win it, but I've got the Rebels winning that ball game.
Okay, that'll do it for Division 1.
All right, last thing we have is this week's Games of the Week. Big segment, a lot of excitement about this week's games. I'm going to let you start with yours because I think mine's better.
Well, all right, let's see. My game of the week this week is going to be the Andrews Mustangs versus the Pecos Eagles. Like I said earlier, there's a lot going on in this little rivalry here. You have a lot of those Eagles moved up into this, aged up into this level. You've got Colt, Kane, all those guys that are over here. Then you've got Tommy Evans on the other side of the ball. I think it's going to be it's going to be a good game. I really think it's going to be a shootout. But at the end of the day, I honestly believe that the Mustangs are going to win this game. They're going to have to figure out how to stop Tommy Evans, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. This guy over here is going to have to figure out how to take care of Colt and Kane and his whole squad too. So
Gonna have my hands full, but you know what? Up until this week, we were kind of one-dimensional, but we found some of our other players have found their footing a little bit.
That's true.
That's true. Couldn't have come at a better time. So my game of the week, the Steers varsity. They're hard not to go for. They're hard not to want to watch. And if I could get to Big Spring to watch it, I might even go. You got the Steers varsity with Davion Dawson and Andre Russian. And when I say Russian, I mean he's rushing. He's rushing for yards on yards on yards. The kid is hard to stop. Davion is a powerful running back. I mean, it looks like bugs hitting the windshield. And he doesn't even slow down. And when he does slow down, it's just so he can make contact with somebody else. So, intentionally. The kid, he takes the dings on his helmet and his jersey as, pride marks. So I've got the Steers and the Cougars. Cougars, great squad. Have had a lot of success so far. The players we harp on week in and week out with the Cranfields and the Bishops and the big Braden Hogan and all those kids, that's great. But when you run into a Steers team like this, you've got to have everything firing. You've got to have everything going. I've got the Steers at home against the Cougars taking that ball game.
Be fun to watch.
Be fun to watch. I might be there.
Number 10. Compass Cougars drop back for a pass. Quarterback lets it go right into the hands of Carter Barrera from the Stanton Buffaloes. Interception, Buffaloes.
At number 9, we have the Big Spring Steers freshman division. Robert Evans is going to take the snap and run it off tackle around the left end. Nobody's going to touch him. Touchdown, Big Spring.
Number 8, we got the Steers lining up against the Eagles. Direct snap to Mr. Adrian Yanez. Gets the corner, breaks a tackle, 3 men to beat. They have the angle. No, they don't. It is a foot race. He won't be touched. Touchdown, Mr. Yanez and the Steers.
At number 7, we have Jordan High of the West Texas Cowboys, not going to be outdone by Mr. Tucker. Takes the ball up the middle. Where's number 22 looking like Emmett, taking it to the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Number 6. Got the JV Panthers lined up, send a man in motion. Looks like a handoff to him, going to the left. Nope, it's a reverse, folks. Handed off to a kid that goes by the name of Fat Kirkwood, rumbling, tumbling, going untouched to the end zone. Touchdown, Panthers.
Coming in at number 5, we have the West Texas Cowboys junior varsity division facing off against the Midland Mustangs. J.C. Tucker's going to take the pass, break a few tackles, get to the sideline. They call the kid Sizzle. He straight burns down the field. Nobody's going to touch him. Touchdown, Cowboys. They win the ball game.
Number 4, Bo Hudson back for the punt return. Got a man on top of him. Nope, he gets away. Second man miss. He's got the corner. He is down the sideline, folks. He gone. Touchdown, Mustangs.
That'll work, baby. That'll work.
At number 3, Caleb Rodriguez of the Big Spring Steers out here looking like Thanos, just making kids disappear.
Number 2, Seahawks in the red zone. The pass is out. Picked off by Mr. Jaden Guzman. One man to beat. Will he get him? Not even close. Foot race. Jaden. Pick 6. Touchdown. Gators.
And our number 1 top 10 play of the week, Andrews Mustangs JV against Howard County Broncos. Tommy the Superman Evans takes the ball from his 1-yard line, 99 yards down the field. He's going to be untouched all the way into the end zone. Andrews Mustangs beat the Broncos 27-12. Our honorable mention play of the week, I want you to pay attention to Coach Hayden Ryan in the blue at the bottom of the screen. He's going to unhitch the wagon and go, baby, go. Man, somebody get that guy some oxygen and an Advil. He's going to pay for that one tomorrow, but it was all worth it. Touchdown Gators.